So thank you for coming again, and welcome to our presentation today. And thanks again, Leanne, for doing the introduction. Unfortunately, my connection went down at the very beginning, but it should not go down throughout the rest of the presentation. So my name is Yasmeen, and I have been with Empower World for about 4 years now. I'm an accredited ACC coach with the ICF and an NLP practitioner. And I've done all of my training with Empower World, and currently I work with them as an associate. I used to live in Qatar, but I moved to Perth, Australia about a year ago. So I am now talking to you from the other side of the world at almost 10 p.m. at night. So it's a night for me, but it seems to be a good afternoon for everybody else. Before I start, what I usually like to do is set an intention for myself for what we're about to do. So my intention today is to be completely in the moment with everyone, to be present, and to be very flexible and fluid with how the presentation is going and how our conversation is going to go. And I also have an intention of supporting all of you who have joined us today in making sure that you get exactly what you want out of this webinar. So if you all just take a very deep breath and think about why you're here right now. So what is your intention of the webinar? What do you want to get out of it? And after, I don't know, the next hour and a bit that we're together, how would you know that you got out what you came for? So if you could type something in the chat so I know that everybody is with me about what's brought you to this webinar and what you really want to get out of it. And that would be a great way to start and set all of our intention for the remaining hour. So we can work towards answering anything that comes up throughout. So who would like to start by sharing their intention? So Ihab, thank you. Trying to know how to be a successful coach. And Barbara is posting, looking to not just empower myself to be an agent of change, but to mobilize others in the same direction. How beautiful is that? Both of you, thank you very much for sharing your intentions for today. And Andiola, we are listening a lot of coaching, but I need to know how it works. And that is really a good point to bring up, because a lot of people mention coaching. It's everywhere now, but not that many people know what it is. So Sharif, let me scroll up. There's some interesting, great way to start. So you want to work towards being a coach, and this is taking baby steps. Baby steps, whatever steps you take is always a step in the right direction. I would like to know how I can help people properly. Thank you, Letizia. I would like to know more about coaching. Absolutely, this is exactly what we're going to go through. Denicia saying, get proficient about what is coaching, and there's always deeper learning to be absorbed. I see a lot of people are trying to understand what coaching is, so this is good. Did I miss anyone? To learn more about coaching, incorporate this information, and complete the courses towards being a coach. Fantastic. And then Nadir is like, have been wanting to join the classes. Well, it's a good step to join the webinar. You've researched everything. That's very good. And you're hoping to get some more insight on becoming a coach before registration. And Ramona saying, get to know how I can be a certified coach step by step. Well, thank you all for an amazing start. And it's good to see all of these different points put there. And I'm sure Leanne is taking notes. So towards the end, if there are anything in those intentions that you set out, which we haven't covered, we will definitely cover it. So to begin, I have a few questions, which I'm just going to state them one by one. And as I read the questions, think about what it means to you and whether or not this resonates with you. So whether or not this fits with you. So are you, or the people that you work with, the people that you serve, are you feeling that you're getting pulled in lots of directions and you can't make a decision? So do you feel at this moment in time that there's so many things happening, you're going into different directions, and you can't really make a proper decision?
Is
somebody asking a question for me? Fine. So as I ask these questions, if anything is a yes for you, just you can again post it in the chat box as we go along. Second question. Do you feel that you're procrastinating about the future? You know what you want to do, but you actually fear the unknown. So are you currently living in fear? Although you have a feeling that you know what you want to do, but there's just something keeping you back. How about this? Are you feeling stuck? And you know that there is something else out there for you. You know there's more. But you're just feeling stuck and you can't go ahead. Do you have a dream, but you don't know how to make it happen? Now that's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. So who here has a dream that they want, that they really know, that this is it, that they were meant to do this, but they really don't know how to make it happen? So as these things are coming up for you, I like that somebody's currently working on my dream. That's good. As these things are coming up for you, what else is coming up? So when you feel that you have a dream and you're not sure how to make it happen, or you feel that you're being stretched in different places, or you're stuck and you can't take that extra step, what are the emotions that are coming up for you? What do you feel when you are in this? Think about the different emotions that are coming up when you now recognize that there are things that you want to achieve in your life, but you just don't know the next step. So Rowena says a lack of, with lack of other training. Nadira says you're not ready for the possibility of failure. And that's an interesting one, because when you're saying you're not ready for the possibility of failure, what emotion is coming up for you? To recognize what's happening when you are in this moment, in this time, with all of the stuff around you in this world, and you're feeling stuck. And you can't just go ahead. Yeah, the fear of failure. The fear of failure. And that's huge. That's huge. I love the comments that are coming up. So let's take all of this, that's that's with us now. And let's go and think about, you're here today, you've registered to come to this webinar, we're all together in the same boat. So are you ready? Are you ready to take charge of your own destiny? Are you ready today? And I can see some people nodding their heads. Are you ready to elevate your life to the next level? Are you ready to inspire and support others in empowering people and transforming the way that they live, and also transforming your own life? Are you ready? And are you ready to make your dreams, your visions, your goals, everything that you really want come true? Yes. And I love how, and I hope everybody's also seeing the comments that are coming up, but I love how everybody's saying, yes, 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 I'm already started. You've already started because you're already here. So that's always the first step. Yes, it would be great to have everybody on board and saying, yes, we are ready to do this. I love, I'm not sure if anybody knows Les Brown. So Les Brown is a motivational speaker and someone who writes a lot about coaching and how to live your best life. And he mentions that most of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. Now, this is a huge statement, so just take it in for a bit. Les is amazing, yeah. Most of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. And I mentioned this, and immediately I'm thinking about a few days ago on something extremely simple. A few days ago, I was with my family, my husband and 2 kids, and we were cycling on the bicycle, and we were going downhill. Now, I learned how to ride a bicycle when I was 20 years old, so that tells you something about how good I am. So we were going downhill, and they're all speeding and just zooming and just going. And I'm stopped at the very top of this hill, and in my mind, completely in my mind, I'm thinking, I can't go down that hill. I can't go fast. If I do, I will fall down. If I fall down, I will break something. If I break something, that is going to hurt, and that will not be good at all. So going down, I'm going down this hill, and I'm constantly pressing on the brakes of the bike. So instead of going down in 2-3 seconds, I'm taking more than a minute and going very slowly with my brakes on my bike. So something as simple as a bicycle trip, a bicycle ride. If I am in my fears, if I am living my fears, then I will never be able to achieve that greatness. If anybody has a question and would like me to unmute them, you can also put that in the text, and if I don't see it, Leanne will see it, so then you can actually ask the question. So stepping into your courage and making your dreams come true is extremely important. So taking all of that information now, and one of the questions that a lot of you had asked throughout the presentation is, what is coaching? So what we wanted to do is go through 2 or 3 different kind of definitions of coaching, but then also experience it, and experience it by giving you 2 different tools, which we will do together. So you will do it on yourself, and then you can take these tools and you can use it coaching others, you can use it coaching your family, you can use it coaching your friends, and you can use it to continue coaching yourself. And we'll do that throughout the next part of the webinar. But to begin with, I'm going to go through, first, I'm going to go through what the International Coaching Federation defines coaching as. Now, the International Coaching Federation, or the ICF, is the, let's say, the biggest governing body that standardizes all coaching for life coaches. So it's actually the only body that you would want to take any training with. So if something is certified by the ICF, you understand that then you will become an accredited coach if you work with them or if you study under them. And Empower World training are all certified and accredited by the ICF. So Leanne, I think it might be beneficial for the people on the webinar if you post the website for the ICF, so you can put it in the chat. And I would recommend for anybody who is really interested in becoming a coach, just to go there and have a look at the different articles and blogs and standards and the code of ethics for coaches on there. So I think, yeah, that's fantastic. So that's the Coaching Federation website that Leanne has posted. So later on, you can all go there. Now, the Coaching Federation actually has, read out the definition of coaching from there. So the ICF defines coaching as a thought-provoking and a creative process that inspires people to reach their maximum potential in their professional and personal life. And my favorite word out of all of that is potential. So for me, when somebody says your potential, it's as if you have this little spark inside you that glows, becomes light when you are doing and when you are living your best life. And everybody has a potential to be amazing, to be incredible, to be extraordinary in their own way. So you can be extraordinary and amazing, and you can go out and you can save the planet, and you can be extraordinary and amazing, and you can go down that hill very fast in 1 minute. So our extraordinary and amazing lives can be for us, can be being the best parent, being the best mother, being the best father, doing the best for our community, serving on a community level, national level, huge level. So our dreams are all big. Regardless of what they are, our dreams are big. And this is the beauty of having that potential and believing that you can achieve all of that. And when it comes to coaching, here at Empower World, we like to define coaching as a conversation like no other. And it is a conversation that you have with a professionally trained coach who is professionally trained in the art and the science of coaching. And this is the beauty of it, that there's an art to it and there's also the science behind it. And when it comes to coaching, it's a partnership. So the client and the coach are at that same level. The conversation that they have is at that same level. We don't look at it at I'm the coach and you're the client here, where the client will come and ask the coach, what do I need to do? And the coach says, well, let me tell you what to do. That doesn't happen. The conversation or the partnership between the coach and the client happens in a way that the coach will ask powerful questions, will ask deep questions, will create or will support the client in creating new awareness that will help them move forward and that will help them achieve their goals. And together create an action plan on how to go from where they are to where they want to be. So how does, has anybody had an experience with coaches or in coaching or being coached? Yeah. So there's a few people out there who have, fantastic. And we also have a PCC there, fantastic. We can get some help there from Samira. Yeah, so it's great that a lot of people in today who are with us, most of you have had some experience about coaching. Oh, Samira, it's fantastic that you're with us today. Samira says she's an ICF chapter president for Bahrain chapter. Well, welcome. Welcome, Samira. You can help us out. If there's anything that you want to add in, please feel free. It's our pleasure for you to be here. Great. So the image that I'm going to show you now, the image of this image really resonates with a lot of people, and a lot of things come up for people when they see it. It's the caterpillar that transforms into the beautiful butterfly. Ooh, that's beautiful. The beautiful butterfly when they transforms. And people see this and they say, you know, different things come to them. For me, I always look at it and I see, the caterpillar always knows and always believes that it can become that butterfly at the end. And I think that's the beauty of coaching, is that as a coach, I believe in my clients, and as a coach, I also know that the client believes in themselves, that they are 100% aware that they can achieve what they want to achieve, and they can overcome all of their limiting beliefs in the process. Is any questions coming up at this point before we start going through some different tools of coaching? I'm happy to take any. Yes. So I think Ramona says that she has a question. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take the question from Ramona, who says, is there any coaching for particular fields? Now, if I'm reading that question correctly, are you asking coaching for nutrition, or coaching for children, or coaching on a corporate level? There are those different levels of coaching, and yes, definitely there's niche coaching, absolutely. And a lot of the coaches who go through the Empower World training will then take a certain area and go with it. So we have a lot of coaches who have now focused on coaching with children, and there are coaches who have gone and into wellness and in health. Some are doing transitional and career coaching. So there are all of those different fields. However, the training that you do take, which is the accredited ICF training, once you graduate from that, and once you become certified with that, that gives you the knowledge and that gives you the tools that allows you then to become a coach in any of those fields. So that information is there. The fields are endless, Ramona. So you can have a different niche for coaching leaders, a different niche for coaching startups and entrepreneurs. There's coaching, like I said, for children. There's coaching for teenagers. There's coaching for marriage. There's coaching for all different levels. As an ICF coach, you will be able to sit with everybody and coach them, because it's the client who comes in with the area that they want to be coached on. And if you decide to become specialized in a certain field, then there are extra things that you can do as you're studying and graduating to that field. To become certified, yes, and there will be some additional certification in some of those areas. So we can cover those towards the end. Right, that's great. All right, so are we ready now then to go through our first tool? Now this is an exercise called the Wheel of Life. Some of you may have already experienced it. Some of you may have already done it. There is another question that's come up. Can I just hold that question towards the end? Leanne, can you make a note of that one? But thank you, Leona, for asking that question. We'll come back to you. So if we're going to go now through the first tool, the first tool is called the Wheel of Life. And the Wheel of Life is a tool that we use frequently in our coaching practices. And it's a great tool that you can use for yourself. It is also a great tool that you can use for different parts of your life. So you can do one for your career, you can do one for your family, you can do one for your personal life, or you can do a full Wheel of Life and see it from all of the important aspects of your current life and how it is at the moment. So in front of you, what you see is a circle. And the way that we've divided it into segments which can create which create the important parts of your life. Now, we've given an example of family, money, health, career. These are just examples. You can choose different things that are important to you. So somebody might say that rest and relaxation is not an area that I want to focus on, but religion, for example, is important for me. Spirituality is important for me. Marriage is important for me. So the titles can change. So to do this together, it would be great if you have a pen and paper with you. I'll give you a few times to get it. Just draw a circle and divide the circle into sections which are important to you in your life. And you can use the example that we have, or you can come up with your own example. So if I give you a few minutes just to create that circle, and then just let me know very quickly once you've done the first step, so we can go into the next step. So like I said, you draw the circle, you divide it into segments, and just put a title on each segment for something that is important to you in your life, that creates an important part of your life. And once you're done, just let us know. Yeah, so I think a lot of people will use the same segments that are already there because it kind of covers most of it. But there are specifics for some people which are important, which maybe we haven't put on this general Wheel of Life. So feel free to change that. So just very quickly now, I'll give everybody maybe another 30 seconds to come up with that first step of their Wheel of Life. Yeah, so learning, family, career, personal growth, health, money can be important for lots of people. For some people, not important at all. Right, so I think for most of us, we've come up now with this wheel, and we've divided it, and we've put the categories. So think about where you are in your life right now. And when you look at this wheel, if you look at the segment at the very center, if I would give that a value of 0, where 0 is I am not satisfied with this part of my life at all, and towards the very top, that would be a 10. So that is, I am extremely satisfied. It's the best, the absolute top marks I can give for that part of my life. So on a scale of 0 to 10, where would each segment be for you in terms of how satisfied you are with that segment of your life at this time, at this very moment. So the example here, I guess, as family, this person has said family is very satisfied. Well, family is a 9 out of 10, while health would be a 3 out of 10. Yeah, so thanks Ihab, for sharing that you've got 10, you've got a 6, and you've got a 7. So fill in, so for everybody else, fill in those segments and just put the number which correlate to how satisfied you are with that part of your career, or with that part of your life at this moment in time. So the beauty of doing this exercise is that at the end of it, what you see is a bird's eye view, a top view, a helicopter view of your life. And you see the areas which you're very happy with, and you see the areas which maybe not so satisfied with. And you can see the wheel as it creates. There are parts which are on the top part, and there are parts which are low, and you're requiring to go higher and will require improvement. So if you look at it, it doesn't really look much as a wheel, much like a wheel when you fill it out. It looks a little bit, can be a little bit bumpy, which is all good, because that's how our life is. We have balance actually in the bumpiness. So there's a lot of people who have filled these things out now. So it seems that most of you have filled out this. So take your time now. Take just one step back, if you can, on this laptop, on your paper, and look at it from far. And look at this wheel of life. And take it all in. When you see it like that, when you see all of these segments, and where you see where you are on this wheel of life, what's coming up for you? If you could name one emotion, something that you're feeling right now when you see it, what is that emotion that's coming up for you? And you can be great if you could share that in the wheel of life, in the chat box. So Letiza says worthness. Could you care to elaborate on what you mean when you say worthness? Just so I understand. And Barbara says fulfilling. That's beautiful. To see your whole life and to feel fulfilled. Khalid says, and thank you for sharing, Khalid, lots of things missing, lots of missing. And Samira is saying that she is focused, but you are aware that you're paying a high price for that focus. And you're also aware that it will pay off in the future. So that's a lot of awareness there. Ramona is thankful. Daisy Lynn feels contentment. So a lot of you are now looking at this wheel of life, and all of these different emotions are coming up. Yes, I see. Letiza, thank you for elaborating. So when you see this, and I'm seeing some of the faces of videos. Some people have smiles on their face, and some people are like, yeah, I can see now where I am, and I can see what's happening. And Samira, thank you again for sharing that apparently love is not for me for some time. And again, that's awareness. So if this is where we are with, or this is where you are with your wheel of life right now, it is an eye-opener. It's absolutely an eye-opener, because we sometimes focus on only one segment at a time, and we don't see it as a whole. And this is why this exercise and this is why this tool can be extremely powerful when we use it in our coaching. And a lot of the time, we send this out at the very, very beginning of a coaching contract or a coaching session with our clients, for them to create this awareness on their different areas. Because the beautiful thing about here is that you can say, okay, I'm a 7 on my career, but really, I want to be a 9. And that's where I want to focus on right now. And even though my health is 3, it's not important for me at this point in time. I'm okay with my health being 3. So even though the number is low, it doesn't mean that you have to focus on it. It's whatever is coming up for you. So to go into our next exercise, to continue on this, what I'd love you to do is select one of these segments that you would like to focus on, and you would like to move into the next step, to take a step forward in it, to go from a 7 to an 8, or to go from a 4 to a 5, or hey, let's go from a 4 to a 10. Whatever you want, choose a segment, and then create or choose a number for where you want it to be, for you to be satisfied with that part. And Barbara is saying there's so much interconnectedness to attaining a better equilibrium on that wheel. And isn't it beautiful that when we see a wheel and we see these different segments, we immediately look at it as saying, well, we want it to be balanced, and we want it to be able to, as a wheel, just roll around properly, nicely, and smoothly. And to have that balance, to have that equilibrium would be great. And if we're able to achieve that in all of the areas, would be great. And most of us will find that throughout different parts of our life, some things are going up, and at the same time, something else will have to go down. And it's for us to understand what is important for us at that point. So if we are now ready with the segments, this thing that we would like to focus on, the thing that we would love to focus on, and something that we know that we want to improve on. So put in mind the number that you want to improve it to. So like I said, if it was a 3 and you wanted a 5, so imagine yourself saying, yes, I would be satisfied if in that segment of my life, that's how much I would be improved. And what we're going to do is take this now into sort of another tool that we use while coaching. And this is more of a forward-driven, success-driven tool, which as life coaches, we focus a lot on. So as life coaches, our aim is to support our clients in moving forward. And to move forward, our clients need to be able to see what that looks like. So what does success look like for them? And that will support them in moving from where they are to where they're going to be. So if you would all just take a deep breath, and let's do this exercise together. We could just relax in our chairs. Just put your feet on the ground. If you have any pens in your hand, anything, just would be nice for you to let that go. And if we take a deep breath, and you can keep your eyes open or you can keep your eyes closed, whatever makes you comfortable. And imagine that area that you've selected, that area that you'd like to focus on, and the number that you've put for yourself. So you're imagining that area and how you're moving forward in that area. So imagine what success looks like for you in that area that you've chosen. So when everything is as you want it to be, what do you see around you? So in the area that you've selected, when everything is as you want it to be, what are you seeing? And what are you noticing? Imagine yourself in that moment of success. Who is around you? Who is with you? Are there any colors that are coming in? Are there any shapes? Take a good look. And when you're seeing this around you, what are you hearing? What are people saying to you? When it is as you want it to be, what are people saying to you? And what are you saying to others? And when it is as you want it to be, what are you saying to yourself? What are the words that you're using? And what are the words that you're saying to yourself? And when it is as you want it to be, and you're seeing all of this, you're noticing all of this around you, and you're hearing all of this, what are you feeling? What are the emotions that are coming up for you? And where are you feeling this? And when you're seeing all of this, and you're hearing all of this, and you're feeling all of this, when it is as you want it to be, what does that give you? When those feelings come up, what does that give you? And what else does that give you? And when you have that, what else does that give you? So I would love for you to take a deep breath and to anchor that feeling in there, within you. To anchor that. But as you're seeing it and as you're imagining it, you're believing it. You can do it. Take a deep breath and slowly come back. Open your eyes if you have them closed. Come back to the webinar and write down 2, 3 words that are coming up for you right now. So write down what's come up from you right now. And I think both myself and Leanne have been reading some of the comments as they're coming up, and I'm feeling very, very, very blessed to be among you all. I've seen some very big change makers out there today. The words that I'm seeing right now are power, confidence, success, transition, peace, relieved, success. And I'm going to share with you that as these words are coming up, I'm feeling very peaceful right now with you. I feel it here, right here. Whew, this has been beautiful. Contentment. And the beauty of it, the beauty of all of this is that it's been with you and it's been in you throughout all of this. Somebody want to share it? Yeah. Alive and purposeful living. Yeah. So a lot of these beautiful words are coming up. So what you imagined for yourself with when it is as you want it to be. So remembering that area that you wanted to focus on, and then you imagined how success would look like for you. How much do you want that feeling? How much do you want that out of 10? So Leticia says a 9, and Barbara says a 10. And Leticia, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I want to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you on that one. What would make it a 10? And also Wasfi, I'm going to challenge you on your 9. What would make that 9 a 10 for you? There's a lot of 10s out there. Okay. So I'm seeing 9 because of the circumstances, and 9 if I can change my current status. So remember that when we're imagining success, it is exactly how we want it to be. It's how it's like we have a magic wand and we go, poof, that's my life. That's how I want it. So all of the other things, that the current status, the circumstances, all of that, that is the reality that you're in. So again, Leticia, I'm going to challenge on what you said. So you said a 10 because you can improve your English. To improve your English. So imagine as you are in that place of success that your English is as you want it to be. That your English is at that level as well. So when you hear yourself speaking the English or the level of English that you want. So it's that power that we have within us to really dig deep, to imagine how life can be like with no excuses, no limiting beliefs, none of that, none of the other noise that keeps us, from where we want to go to. That's the life that we can achieve. And to really imagine it so we can live in it. And when we do that, we can work towards achieving that, or you can work towards achieving that because you've seen it, you've heard it, you've felt it, and you know exactly what it's going to give you once you get it. So I hope that has made sense to a lot of people with the 2 different tools that we very quickly went through. Now, usually this visualization tool can be done on a much longer time period, and we can go into much deeper questioning to really anchor the imagination, to really anchor our visualization, to really see what it is that we want to get out of it. But for the purpose of today, I just wanted to give you these two tools in conjunction to see how you can create your wheel of life and how you can take a segment that you wanted to improve on and then use this tool to imagine your life and how you can improve on it. And the beauty of it is that you can use this now for yourself, and you can also use it for the people around you. My recommendation is always to work on yourself first, and then see how you can improve it within your own life, and then work with others as you are trying to transform and trying to support people around you to live their best life as well. So because we love numbers, we went from how much we wanted, which was a 10, to where we are right now, which is the reality. So if I wanted 10 out of 10, and where I am right now was a 7, so that creates that gap from a 7 to a 10, where as a coach, I would work then with my clients to support them in moving up between 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10 in their own way, by creating awareness around all of the things that have kept them at a 7. And we create that awareness as a coach by asking the important questions, by asking the deep and meaningful questions, by being present with our clients, and to listen at a very deep level, to remove all of the stuff that's in our own head as coaches, and to be one with our client. And all of these different tools you will be learning within the Empower World training or within other trainings that you'll be doing as with your coaching. So take a moment, and I think a lot of the excuses had already come up with, I'm just reading some of the comments about, whether it was my English not good, or there are people around me, or the status or the current status that I'm in. So those are the excuses that you're telling yourself. So have a think about all the things that you wanted to achieve in your life. Have a think about the visualization that you just did, and how what that vision of success was, and then what's keeping you right now from being there and from doing that. What are the excuses that you're telling yourself? What are those excuses costing you? And also, how are they holding you back to create that vision for yourself? And Nadira, I'm going to make a note of that question that you just put in right now, and we'll come towards the end, and I'll make sure to address it, because it's a really important thing that you bring up. But have a think about the things that you tell yourself, that little voice that's constantly telling yourself, that was telling me that I can't go down that hill because I'm going to fall, I'm too old to do this, I'm going to break something, it's going to be painful, let me just get off my bike, let me just walk. So these excuses, these voices that are coming up for you are holding you back from creating that vision. There was, I can't remember who mentioned this, but it was very powerful when they did. They said, imagine you're living, toward the end of your life. It's your last day on life, your last day. And at that moment, your last day on life, you come face to face with all the different versions of who you could have been, of who you could have been. So you're coming face to face with these people. These are people who you could have been if you weren't afraid of taking those risks and doing those things. Was it less brown? Must have been less brown. Thanks, Samia. So that whenever I mention this, I still get goosebumps whenever I think of this. Imagine coming face to face with the versions of yourself that you could have been on that last day on earth. I would not. That is might be my worst nightmare. My worst nightmare. So Barbara's saying, I don't see how other areas will, so I think this is still, well, maybe we should address this since we're commenting on it. So Nadira said, what you're realizing is that if you achieve a high satisfaction on one segment of the circle, there's a possibility that other segments would go lower. And for you, that could happen. So it could happen. It doesn't have to happen. It might not happen. So it's all dependent on your life, where you are, what you're doing, what's important to you, what you're choosing to focus on. So that's how it would normally be. So it could go lower in another segment if you are not paying attention to that segment, or you could find that as this area is going higher, and you're becoming more satisfied, and you're becoming a more peaceful, tranquil, successful, happy person, then other areas could also go higher, because your overall mood, your overall outlook, the way you see things, the way you feel things can also change. So hopefully that would have answered your question. And equilibrium, sure, it can be difficult and it can be very easy as well. And it can be the way that we look at things, our perspective, how we see, and how we see balance. And I think this is a beautiful discussion that's come up. Yes, the power of positivity is very important. And whether there's a price we have to pay, and again, it's the way we see it. And it's like Leanne is saying, maybe there are some limiting beliefs that are coming up for us at this point. And success is not free. And it would be a question to ask, what does success mean for you at this point? And whether or not we're willing to pay the price. And I believe that price is, this is a whole new level that we can be coaching on this for all of you. And yeah, so it's a matter of choice of which cost we are willing to pay. So think about this. Think about this when you're saying it's a matter of my choice of which cost we are willing to pay. It is a matter of what's important for us. It is a matter of what we define success as, and it's a matter of where we want to be and what we really want and what is our purpose in life. And this is the number one question. What is our purpose, our higher purpose, our higher goal? And when we come into the coaching, this is what you as a coach will define, and this is what your client will also define for themselves. What is my higher purpose? And what are the values that I'm living in my life right now to achieve that higher purpose? And how am I going to achieve that? And what am I going to do that? And these are fantastic things that are coming up. I think this is the first time all of these discussions have come up on our webinars. So I'm really happy with the way that it's going. So if we, I'm going to go now to the next slide, then we'll cover a lot of this, I guess, later in the Q&A. I'll cover all of that in the Q&A. So if we go back to the 5 ways that coaching can change our life, and I think we've covered a lot of it. So even through these 2 exercises right now and what you've been through and what you've done and how you've seen success and all of the discussions that have come up from it, coaching can give you some sort of freedom, and it gives you control over your own life, over your own decisions. It provides you with all of the different opportunities. It gives you that vision of what you can see in front of you and how you can move from where you are to the next step. It gives you all of that, because all of a sudden, all of those excuses in your head have gone, because there's a belief. You are aware and you are able to take this with the opportunities that are in front of you. And when that happens, and if we're going back into that wheel of life where we were saying sometimes some parts go down, some parts go up, there's no balance. When you're actually in that area of success and you're achieving things, you'll realize that your relationships become stronger, you become stronger, you have become more connected, and you understand who are the right people you should surround yourself with. Who are the people that you really love and love you? What is important to you? What is important for those people? So that becomes then a much stronger connection between you and the people that are around you. And very importantly, it allows you to support yourself in managing your own emotions. So what we've been doing slightly is, over the past couple of exercises and questions that have come up, I've always been asking, what is coming up for you? What is that emotion that's coming up for you? Name that emotion. How does that feel? Where does that feel? What are you feeling? And what else are you feeling? So when we are able to name our emotions, and when we are able to recognize them, then we can manage them. Then we can see them and change our outlook and change our perspective of how we see things. And we can handle things much better. And then finally, with all of that, you can make your decisions easily and effortlessly. And it's always great when you're able to identify your values in life, your higher purpose, and then anything that comes along your way, if you just take a moment and say, does this fit with my purpose? Does this fit with my higher values? And if it does, then that's easy, yes. The decision to do this would be yes. But if there's that inner emotion that's saying, something doesn't feel right, something doesn't fit here right now, it doesn't really work for me, it doesn't go with my values, then you're able to make a decision to say, maybe not. Maybe this is not my path. And of course, a lot more things can come out of coaching. Coaching is something that will support your clients, but at foremost, it will also support yourself. So we've come to the part now where we're going to talk a little bit more about the ICF approved coach training that the Empower World provides. Now, I want to say that I'm going to share a very quick story about when I took the training. So I was working in Qatar, and I was working for an amazing organization where I was working with young startups, local entrepreneurs who were trying to set up their own businesses, and I was supporting them on their financial plans, business plans, marketing analysis. So I was working as a business, as their business, and supporting them to improve. I love my job. And from the outside, I think a lot of people would have looked and said, well, you know, I had a great job, I have a beautiful family, I was a very happy, outgoing person, I was successful. But there was something, and I couldn't name it back then, but there was something inside me that just didn't fit right. Do you remember the balance that we were talking about? There was no balance at all. I had zero balance. And my head was constantly busy. So I had multiple things in my head going around, round and round and round. I was never at peace. I felt I was being pulled in different directions. If you remember the first 4 questions that I asked at the very beginning of this presentation, yeah, that was a checklist to my life. I had yes to all of them. I was being pulled in every direction. I knew there was something else for me right there. I just didn't know what, and I was making all of these excuses not to go and not to take that next step. And I remember one day I was in a car park in one of the malls. I was in an underground car park in my car, and the engine was off and the doors were off and there was no radio. I was just sitting in my car in this car park, and it was very dark, and I had my eyes closed. And I was just trying to make my mind go peaceful, and I couldn't. I was just trying to just grasp a moment of peace. And in that moment, which I was trying really hard, my phone goes off, and my phone rings, and I answer it, and it was Janine. So Janine is one of the co-founders of Empower World. And she goes, oh, hi, I just wanted to say that we're doing this ICF coach training program, and it's going to start next weekend. And I believe that you would benefit from it greatly. So we would really love to have you on board. Now, usually it takes a long time for me to sign on anything. I need to analyze it. I need to read it. I need to do all my research. But at that moment, I think I just wanted, I don't know what it was. But at that moment I said, yes, let me do this. Fine, I will be there. And I had convinced myself that I'm going to go to this training and I am going to learn the tools and techniques that are going to support my clients. So I'm going to learn all of this so I can help my clients to be able to set up their businesses in a much better, more effective way. And on day 1 of that training, we did the visualization exercise that we just did on a much larger scale, but we did that one. And I just visualized for myself, for the first time, a vision of success that I had never seen before. And I had felt a vision of success that I had never felt before. And I knew where my path was, what my purpose was, what was missing, what I needed, and how I can change. And that was in day 1. So continuing the rest of the days, I was able to take these little pieces, and fill it all up and realize that how powerful this coaching is. To be able to support myself, and when I take care of myself, I can then support all these people around me. And that's kind of how I moved from an effective business consultant to more of a life coach, business coach. So that's really a quick story on where I am. And I am going to mute it right now from my end. I'm going to transfer it to Leanne. And Leanne will go through a little bit more about the program, and then I'll come back and answer any other questions that we have towards the end.
Thank you, Yasmeen. So like Yasmeen, I was doing a completely different job. I think I mentioned this at the very beginning. I was actually doing marketing and communications in Qatar. Enjoyed my job, but was beginning to feel like this doesn't satisfy something deep inside me. I'm telling people, I'm trying to convince people to buy products they don't need. It doesn't feel right. And kept thinking that there should be something else I need to do. didn't do anything about it until I got laid off. And once I got laid off, then I had to go scrambling for plan B. Still didn't consider coaching at all. Had no idea what I wanted to do. And was speaking to someone whom I knew, and I was telling her that I was really upset. And she said, why don't you consider going and seeing a coach? I'm like, a coach? How's that going to help? And surprisingly, once the universe sets you on a certain path, everything just falls into place. The next thing I knew, I started hearing about Empower World. And I was like, is coaching here in Qatar? Nah, they can't be any good. Looked a little more into coaching, was like, let's see what there is out there. Maybe I'll move back to India and do something, because I'm from India and I'm actually back in India right now. Come to India and do something, maybe do a course in the States. I looked at it and I began to think, okay, there's something here. I've always been drawn to working with people, but definitely not in Qatar. Then finally reached a stage where I spoke to Marie Quigley, who's one of the co-founders, and a 5-minute conversation with her and I was hooked. I did the coach training and I haven't looked back since. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. This is what I was meant to do. It helped me get out of a comfort zone that I was so stuck in, thinking that, okay, I've lived in the Middle East this long, I need to find another job here. Within a few months of doing the coach training, I was brave enough to pack my bags, move back home to India, which is something I didn't think I was ready to do. Moved back, continued working on my coach training hours, did my mentoring course with Empower World as well. I'm working with people and I am in a much better place right now. I look back and go like, getting laid off was the best thing that happened to me. Because if it wasn't for that, I would still be doing a job I was miserable at. I was good at it, but I was miserable. And I wouldn't have found how much coaching could impact my life. Apart from the fact that it is a hugely flexible career choice for me, where I can work a few hours a day or all day, or I can, it's up to me to set my timings. More than that, the coach training itself, I can't explain to you how transformational that was for me as a person and for every single person in that room. I walked in there thinking I was going to learn a skill. I walked out by the end of 4 weekends knowing who I truly was. There was laughter, there were tears, there was just incredible, an incredibly supportive group of people. And it's an experience that I can't describe until you've been through it. To really walk out knowing who I am, what I am meant to do, what my purpose is in life, that's incredible. And it's better late than never. So even though I did this in my mid-40s, I'm not unhappy at all. So yes, so highly, highly recommend this coach training. If not with Empower World, then with someone else. If you are drawn to this field, it's brilliant. But since we are with Empower World, let me just go through a little bit of what the coach training and leadership program involves. Now, as we've mentioned, this is accredited by the ICF, the International Coach Federation. So we do meet the requirements for certification as per the ICF. So this particular course, the coach training and leadership program, the next one is starting in March in Doha. It's 4 weekends. So it's March 22nd, 23rd, April 12th, 13th, 26th, 27th, and May 10th and 11th. And for this you need, I think, Yasmeen, you might need to go back a few, this one. Right, so this course covers the 60 hours of coach-specific training hours. Actually, it does more than that, because once you've done this course, you will have 87 hours of coach training. And with this, you get your certification that you've completed the Empower World coach training. Thereafter, to go on with your ICF accreditation, you do 100 hours of coaching, which you log. 75% of those have to be paid hours, so you start getting practice being a real coach and charging people for it. You also need to do a coach mentoring course, and Empower World offers that. It's 10 hours of it. Once you're done with these two courses, the coach training and the coach mentoring, and you've done your 100 hours of coaching, then you can go ahead and do the exam with the ICF. And they also request a recording of but these are details that you can worry about later as it comes along. And once you're done with this, then you get accredited by the ICF. Ilona did ask a question earlier, which might be relevant at this point of time. The difference between ICF certification and degrees, that is university degrees in terms of finding a job. Yasmeen, would you like to take that?
Yeah, so what I understood from the question is, what is the difference between being accredited by the ICF and between taking a university higher degree? So currently, to become a life coach, the body that accredits life coaches is the International Coaching Federation. So there are other institutions that do diplomas in counseling, diplomas in positive psychology, diplomas, and I believe diplomas in coaching. However, to be accredited with the International Coaching Federation, you will have to go through a training program which is accredited by them, such as the Empower World Training Program, and then sit an exam, which is a 3-hour online exam by the ICF. And if you pass that, I think the pass mark was 75% or higher. I can't remember off the top of my head. Then you are at that first level of an accredited coach. And currently there are 3 levels under the ICF, which is ACC, PCC, and MCC. So it's the associate practitioner and master level coaches. And you can, throughout your journey, let's say with the ICF, you can do further courses with them, you can do mentoring either with them or with other programs, but you can continue to come back to the ICF and submit all the programs that you've done and submit coach recordings for them then to accredit you at the different levels. I hope that answers your question, Joanna. So I guess it's mainly if you want to be an accredited ICF coach, you will need to do the training program and sit the exam. You can choose to do, so the ICF is the key body. The CTI, I believe Marie is also accredited by both the CTI. So Marie Quigley is one of our co-founders, and she is accredited by both the CTI and the ICF. She might be the best person to give you the differences between them, but I remember when speaking to her about it, she was mentioning how the ICF provides better guidelines and a better code of ethics and better competencies that we follow as coaches in our coaching practice. Do you want me to take this one, Leanne? So Nadir is asking that this is the question that it comes to most people as well. Is like, you're asking for a minimum of 75 paid hours. How do we get our clients? And what are the demands for coaches here in Qatar? So the beauty of being as part of Empower World is that we're not going to just say, okay, come to the training and then goodbye. That's it. You're on your own. You actually become part of our Empower World coaching group. So there's a closed group which we have on Facebook where all of our trained coaches are on there. And it's an extremely supportive group where people can post questions, where people can ask for support, any tools, anything. So it's an extreme. I've used it many times, and throughout that, they can help you in finding clients, different ways of finding clients, how they found their clients. And the paid hours, especially those at the very beginning where you're still not accredited and you're looking to get your 100 hours, paid hours doesn't really have to be money-wise. So you don't have to be paid by money. It could have been in exchange for services. It could be for a cup of coffee. It could be exchange for coaching. So you could do, I would coach you, you would coach me within that group of coaches that you're training with. So there are different ways of getting that paid hours. We do recommend, though, that you go out there and you put your services and ask for payment, because that is part of the training as well. And as you're graduating, it does give extra value to yourself and to your clients when it is paid coaching. And there'll be, of course, you can start at a certain level, and as you become more experienced, it becomes higher. Sorry, so I'm just going through the question. So how we should prove being paid and why ICF is asking to be paid. So the ICF asks to be paid because they would like for you to become a professional coach. And for you to become a professional coach, you will need to actually be able to charge for your services. And a lot of people will have this in their head. They're saying, oh, I'm not qualified enough. I can't do this. I can't charge for my services. So if you start charging for your services early on, as anything, it becomes easier and easier as you become more experienced. So that's one of the reasons that the ICF asks you to have paid coaches. Now, how do you prove it? There used to be a log that you would fill out by saying, this is the person that I coached, these are the many hours, this is their contact details, and this was they paid, or this was pro bono. However, with the recent changes in privacy laws, the log is no longer submitted, but as ethical people, you will need to inform the ICF that you have done this many paid and this many non-paid to be able to sit the exam. I hope that helps. I think a lot of questions are coming up.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of questions coming up about the training requirements. What I would like to do is suggest that if anyone's interested, go to the Empower World website and download the coach training brochure. We've tried to put as much information in there as possible.
Leanne, can we send it out to the people on this group? So instead of them downloading it, do you have their email?
I can make I can ask Arslan if he can do that.
Yes.
I will make a note of it.
Yes.
Would everyone be interested in that?
So we can send out the brochure with all of the details on the number of hours, the days, what's covered within this coach training program. Yes. And so, Leanne, you have everybody who's attended today. I think there's 20 people on the call.
Yeah, we've had up to 24 at one time.
Yeah,
sure, with price as well. The brochure does have the updated prices. So you'll have all the information there. And in the meantime, if anyone wants to read some more anyway, here's the link to the coach training page on our website. So I will speak to Arslan about sending out the brochure to everyone who's attended this.
Yeah, so that would be great. So from our end, we'll send out that brochure for the people who are there in today's course. I'm just seeing if we've missed any questions. So somebody did ask if the accreditation is like a bachelor's or a master's certification or just a diploma. It's a different kind of accreditation. So it's as if you're an accountant or a finance manager, you could do a CPA or a CFA. So those are certain accreditations that are given for people in that field. It's not really equivalent to bachelor's or master's. It's just a specialized accreditation for someone who's working in a specific field. So the same thing with the ICF, your ACC, PCC, MCC will be accreditations specialized or specific for someone who's working in the coaching field. That is a question that Ramona asked. And Cizea is asking, and sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly, about the 8 days training is mandatory and fundamentally required. Absolutely. For you to sit the exam and to be accredited by the ICF, you have to go through a set number of hours by an approved trainer, and that's about 60 hours, which Empower World has done in over 8 days of training. So if you don't do those 8 days in one shot, so the next cohort dates are March and April and May. However, if you do, let's say, 6 of those days and you can't do any of the other 2 days, we are very flexible. You're able to take those 2 days and do it at the next session that we run in September. So you won't miss out.
Summer sometime. I had a question from Sharik about that as well. So yes, if you can't make the March one, there's one happening soon after the summer.
Absolutely.
Or you can start in March, and you can maybe if you can't cover all the dates, you can make that up later.
Yeah, so Ihab is asking about May is going to be in Ramadan. It's actually going to be only on May 10th and 11th. So if my understanding is Ramadan won't start until the 14th, I think, this year. But we have run sessions during Ramadan. I have supported the training during that time as well, and a lot of us were fasting, and it was beautiful and very spiritual to actually be there at that time as well.
Ramona, the dates for after the summer are not fixed yet, but they should be fixed very soon. So sometime around September is usually when it would happen.
And for contacts with multinational universities, I'm not sure I understand that question. Now, Empower World works with a lot of the universities in Qatar, so it does programs with Education City, with Carnegie Mellon, with I think it was also with Virginia Commonwealth. So they do provide trainings with those universities, and a lot of counselors and academics from the universities have come to our coach training and have been then trained as life coaches and accredited life coaches through that. So if that was what you were referring to. So yes, we have worked. Empower World also works with multinational companies and does a lot of work with Vodafone and some oil and gas companies in Qatar. Ahab, you mentioned Ramadan on the 6th. My mistake. I thought it was on the 12th. However, like I said, that weekend, if it is during Ramadan, we have done it before, and it has worked out beautifully.
Or if you like, you can just do those last 2 days after the summer. It's up to you.
The training and the mentoring are not done in parallel, so you will need to complete the ICF coach training first, and then we give you an Empower World certificate that says you have now completed the coach training, and that's a very important certificate because with that you can sit the exam. Once you've done that, you can then go and do the mentoring, and you can register for both of them at the same time, but you need to complete the coach training and then do the mentoring program.
Vaspi, the coach training is all in person, not online. They are actual classroom sessions. The coach mentoring program is online.
Yes. And the mentoring phase is supported by Empower World coaches, absolutely. So the mentoring program, we do have a mentoring program, and it is run by Marie and Janine, the co-founders, who are both at MCC level, and they will support you in the mentoring part. And did we post the Facebook page, Leanne?
No, I haven't done that yet. I am posting it right now.
So we do have an open Facebook page for Empower World, and you can go on there, and there's a lot of discussions and questions, and actually some documents that people do post and that we do post as well, which you might get some benefit out of. And if you have other questions that you'd like to post there, or just meet other coaches, please feel free to do that. Leanne will put there it is, the Empower World Facebook page. So go on there, and that will also support you. So the cost of the program. So this is the current cost of the program.
Yep. So this is the current investment value for the coach training, or the package of coach training and coach mentoring. So you can choose which one you'd like to do. The good news is we do have an early bird rate. So if you register before the 1st of March, you will get, on just the coach training, you will get a discount of 1,500 Qatari riyals. So instead of the 16,000, it's going to be 14,500. If you do the package together, the coach training and coach mentoring, so you will have paid for your coach mentoring package in advance, and you do it when you are ready to, you will get a discount of 4,000 riyals, which is quite significant. Believe me, once you do the coach training, you will eventually get into the coach mentoring bit as well. So it might be worth considering just paying upfront for both. And there is even more good news. If you register right away, if this has interested you and you want to go ahead and register, take a look at our website, see if there's anything on there that interests you. And if you register for either of the packages, just the plain coach training or the coach training and mentoring package, within 24 hours of now, if you're one of the first 3 to register, you will also get a free coaching session. Yasmeen, that's the next slide. Yeah, a free coaching session from an Empower World coach. And this is worth 1,000 riyals. And this is actually quite an amazing experience, because you will get to experience coaching firsthand as a coachee. And the Empower World coaches are amazing. They're all brilliant, and it will be quite an experience. And you'll get this absolutely for free. To go back to some of the questions, Nadira, definitely a high investment. Yes, it is. Definitely. We won't say it isn't. However, if I can, a couple of years ago, Forbes magazine had an article on how coaching is one of the fastest growing professions that allow you to earn a 6-figure income, and they're talking US dollars. So as with everything, if you're self-employed, it's what you put into it. So if you choose to take it easy, work fewer hours, then yeah, you're probably not going to lot of money. It takes a while to get to that point, but yes, this is a profession that has quite a lot of potential. So one more question here says, yes, coach mentoring means the 10 hours of mentoring. Yeah.
I think it's important to note that the 10 hours of mentoring, you go into a much deeper level on the core competencies. And then you have, so you do that within a group, and then you have one-on-one mentoring sessions with Marie and Janine, or with other master coaches at that level. So what it would mean is that you are providing a 1-hour session with them, and they will mentor you on the way that you're coaching. So you would have coached someone, you would have recorded it, you would have sent it through to them. So you're spending that time, and they become very, very specific on on how you can improve your coaching and how you can coach better. So yes, so the cost of the mentoring is at that level because it's done with Marie and Janine, so that is their time. Now, for you to sit an exam with the ICF, you will need to do 10 hours of mentoring. It doesn't have to be with Empower World. We do provide this program, and this is the program that we do. You can choose any other mentoring program that can help you, support you, that works better with you. If you know a coach at that level, at MC level, who's willing to also put that time, 10 hours, to mentor you as well, you're able to do that, as long as they are approved by the ICF to provide this mentoring and can certify that you've done this mentoring with them, and then you can sit the exam to be an accredited life coach. So I just want to go that the mentoring is a much deeper sessions that you will go into, not just details, but really experience how to coach at each competency at a much deeper level. And there are 11 competencies. And that one-on-one sessions that you have are very beneficial.
Yeah, it might be fewer hours, so it sounds like, wow, that's a lot of money for only 10 hours. But the level at which you are being coached is quite unlike the classroom training for the coach training, which is at a basic level. By the time you get to mentoring, you will also have had some experience coaching people. So your mindset will be completely different.
Now, the other question that's coming up is, how much can you charge for your coaching and mentoring per hour from your clients? Now, there is no benchmark figure. Unfortunately, it is not an area right now where you can say this is how much you charge when you're ACC and this is how much you charge when you're PCC. It doesn't work that way, and it's different from country to country. So when I was in Qatar, I would charge something, and now that I've moved to Australia, it's different because of the way that the market is. So you have to study the market. Now you can look at it. What I'm going to tell you from my experience. When I started coaching and before I was qualified, I looked at it as what a personal trainer would also charge for a 1-hour personal training session. So whatever the market was at that point in Qatar, I think it was 200 riyals or 250 riyals per hour for a personal trainer. I started coaching and charging at that level. Yeah, so at that level. And then as I became qualified, as I then became an NLP practitioner, as I invested more in myself, and as I invested more in myself, I was able to charge more per hour. And that's usually how it's been working. And I'm assuming most of the coaches would generally go with that. And of course, it's different if you're doing one-on-one, it's different if you're doing corporate coaching, it's different if you're doing workshops, it's different if you're doing group coaching, and it's different if you're doing facilitation. So I hope that answers your question as well. So you're asking if I am doing all of those. Are you saying you're doing all of those at the moment, or if you're planning on doing all of those? If you could elaborate a little bit more. Yeah, so just so I know, are you saying that you're currently doing facilitation, corporate coaching, and group coaching? So you're currently doing that?
May I continue with my voice? Yes. That will be much easier, I think.
That would be much easier. Thank you.
So thanks for the webinar. It's really helpful. And I'm sorry, I have lots of questions if I'm putting too much.
That's what we're here for.
But I found you, and I know it's too late in Australia, but I have to ask. So I graduated psychology 15 years back. And I was an HR professional, and right now I'm the management consultant in Hay Group, maybe you know. So during my HR career and currently, I am doing lots of assessments and feedback and one-to-one coaching, IDPs. And from psychology background, I did lots of group therapies and individual therapies. I know therapies and coaching are completely different things, but my background is completely about the human being, self-development, listening, and giving feedback, and development coaching that I have spent maybe at least my last 3 or 4 years in some clients. So I'm really curious about having the coach certification, and plus there are lots of things that I researched from CTI, ICF, not just in Qatar. I'm Turkish, in Turkey, in Dubai, in Europe and United States. So I'm feeling some confusing. I'm 100% agree about doing that investment for the 60 hours training, which is a couple of weeks and days. I think it will be quite helpful to understand the fundamentals. But when it comes to additional that let's say 10,000, right now at this time, it's financially too much for me, and I'm thinking that if I miss that part, how I can get the certification, because it will be important for me at this year, and maybe next year I can do some different investment on myself. But when it comes to mentoring with that cost, actually it's a kind of black obstacle for me to be part of this journey.
I see. Okay, so I understand that you've got a lot of background right now, and you're currently doing all of this, so you have the experience, which is great. You're now interested in moving into the coaching area and becoming a certified coach, and you're happy to go through the training, the ICF coach training program, which is the 8 days, which after that, you will need to complete 100 hours of one-on-one coaching. So realistically, those 100 hours would be done in a minimum, and we don't really recommend to do it fast, because if you do it all fast, then you're not really practicing that much, you're not really learning that much. If you're doing it at a minimum of 10 months, and a lot of people complete it in a year or a year and a half. So realistically, within a year, you would have completed then your 100 hours, and then you would be doing a mentoring program, or either with Empower World or with somebody else. So the cost doesn't have to be upfront. The cost can be divided over 2 years by the time you will then sit your exam for the ICF and be accredited. Now, if you are able to find, let's say, a mentoring or a mentor from a different country that you mentioned you're from, I think it was from Turkey, you might be able to get a different rate for it. But a lot of people who have gone through the coach training program at Empower World, because of what they get out of it, and I'm not just saying that because, you know, we're talking under Empower World, I'm saying because I got a lot out of it myself. And I didn't initially think that I was going to sign for the mentoring. As soon as I finished, I immediately signed up for the mentoring. But the mentoring happened 6 months after. So then the investment was happening, you know, I put that money aside. So for me, that was what I wanted to focus on, and that was what I was saving up for. And I completely understand that it's different for person to person. But I hope it's clear that it's not an immediate thing. It's not, I'm going to do these 6 days, and then I'm going to do 10 hours of mentoring after each other, and then I'm going to sit in an exam. So it really will take about a year or just over a year, if you're doing it at a good pace, to become certified.
Good. Thank you so much. That makes clear lots of things. Actually, 2 months ago, I asked to our support at empowerworld.com, and I had some emailing. But at this stage, I asked what's the fundamental things to be in this journey, and I heard that I need to get everything. And I thought that after 8 days training, I will continue with the mentoring phase. No. And I mean, 25,000 is a huge amount of money. I know it's a kind of process, as you said, and it's good to hear that. So I understand that I need to start with training and then digest and then live with it and then spend some time with coaching, 50 hours or 100 hours, and then the mentoring, which will be about, again, my self-development probably as a candidate coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus the ICF, as their rules, you will not be able to do the mentoring unless, I think it was after 6 months of you completing the coach training. So there is a gap that you have to take, that they want you to take to complete the mentoring program. So that information, I've done this 4 years ago, so now I don't have it fresh in my head, but they do it like that. So you do take your time. So you do coach properly, because we don't want people to, like, you can finish and you can do an exam and you can sit and you can pass, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be the best coach out there. We want to make sure that the coaches that are going out there who are becoming accredited have done the training, have put the time, and have spent the time to learn themselves to be able to be the best coaches for our clients.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your questions. So we will send out the information for everybody. I think that's everything, Leanne. That's the email for Empower World. I have had a fantastic time. I have had an absolute blast with everybody here today, even with the early technical problems that we had. And what I just wanted to do is, at the end, thank everyone who came, who spent about over 2 hours with us, almost 2 hours with us, and those who have stayed and who have interacted and supported us in making this webinar great for everyone. And just to leave you at the very end, there's more questions. 1 minute. Is there a maximum time limit to complete the 100-hour practical from the start to the program? You have 18 months to complete the 1-hour practical hours. So you have to complete that. 18 months would be a year and a half from the time that you started your coach training program. And if you have any other questions, please email them to us and we will definitely respond to any of the questions that have come up. And yes, so at the end, I just wanted to leave you with a comment from Tony Robbins. That Tony Robbins says, it is in the moments, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. So I'm going to leave that with you, and with all the exercises that we did today and the tools that we went through and the amazing discussions that we did. Just remember that it's in these small moments that you make a decision that you can change your destiny. So thank you again. Thank you, Leanne, for being my amazing support.
Thank you, Yasmeen. This is wonderful.
And we look forward to hearing from all of you. Have a great rest of the day, good night, a good morning, wherever you are in the world.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.